Alright then. Is it okay, it is recording. So I was on chapter 13, backgrounds and colors. I think I was mostly done with background images. I think I was done with this. Yes. Okay, then 13. Okay, I was up to 13.4. Right, okay. Then we have background attachment. In the previous exercise, I asked you to scroll the page and watch what happens to the background image. As expected, it scrolls along with the document and off the top of the browser window, which is its default behavior. Does it scroll? Okay, let me try. Yeah, it does scroll with it, right? Then scroll with the document, okay, which is the default behavior. However, you can use a background attachment property to free the background from the content and allow it to stay fixed in one position while the rest of the content scrolls. Oh, that is great. Okay, background attachment, scroll, fixed or local. Okay, local as in within, right? Yeah, I think within a scope or a block element. With the background attachment property, you have the choice of whether the background image scrolls with the content or stays in a fixed position. When an image is fixed, it stays in the same position relative to the viewport of the browser. Okay. As opposed to being relative to the element it fills. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Okay. Okay. In the following example, a large non-tiling image is placed in the background of the whole document, the body. Okay, background attachment and we have fixed. By default, when the document scrolls, the image scrolls too. Moving up to the page of the shown in figure 13.2.2. Okay, right, okay. It stays where it is initially placed and the text scrolls up. Okay. The local, okay, right. So as shown in figure 13.2, so this is a non-repeating image in the background. This is scroll. Okay, so it scrolls with the, by default the background image is attached to the body element and scrolls off the page when the page content scrolls. Okay, fixed. When background attachment is set to fixed, the image stays in position relative to the browser's viewing area and does not scroll with the content. Okay. However, let me guess. Okay, so it scrolls with the content, right? So you are saying that it scrolls. Okay, however, if I hold up. Right, so I have this, right, background image in the body, background image this, and I think there was a property background dash repeat. I say no repeat, but I don't really. Okay, background repeat x, and I repeat. Is there a repeat none? Have I used a repeat none? Okay, we'll stick to repeat x. Then let me try this. Okay, so this image is moves up, right? Then if I go background, what is scroll? Background attachment. If I go fixed, right? Fixed. Then yeah, okay, so it stays fixed wherever it is, right? Okay. Moves off the page. However, if you set the background to fixed, it saves where it. However, if you set the value of background attachment to fixed, it stays where it is initially placed, and the text scrolls up over it. Okay, right. This property, no repeat. Okay, the local value which was added in CSS3 makes a background image scroll along with the content inside a scrolling element independent of the browser viewport scroll. Okay, independent of the browser viewport scroll. So we'll go fixed position when we last. Okay. So let me just come up here. When we last left the bistro menu, we had applied a large non-repeating logo image to the non-repeating. Okay, I think we added a repeating attachment fixed image to the background of the page. We'll just leave it just like that, and we'll use the background 13.4. Hold up. Okay, this. Okay, I never added this. Alright. Okay, I was supposed to add this images. Okay, what is this? blackgoose.png. Okay, so I was supposed to edit it. blackgoose.png. Let me take a look. Yeah, okay, so I header, sorry, in the body. I have to go in the body. blackgoose.png, but I don't want it to repeat, right? And I want to put it in the center. Okay, so I was not done with 13.4. Okay, header rules. Okay, an image, body, background image, background position, center 200 pixel. Okay, so I'm thinking that since the main elements of the menu are centered, it would be nice if the background patterns stayed centered too. Add this declaration to both the head and okay, then save and look at it in the browser. Okay, when I notice now the pattern. Okay, so background dash position center top. Okay, so I want the background position to be center and top. Okay, Control Shift D. Oh, Control Shift L. No, it does not copy the whole line. Okay. Let's take a look. It is centered, and this is centered. Alright. For kicks, the background position values for kicks, alter the background position values so that the purple dot are along the bottom of the edge. Okay, bottom of the header div, center bottom. Doesn't it look so good? I'm putting mine back. Try moving the bullseye down 200 pixels. Notice that the pattern still fills the entire screen. We move the origin image down, but the background is still set to tile in all directions. Shows the result. Okay. Centered background pattern and then position. Okay. That looks good. Okay. Notice that the pattern still fills the entire screen. The background position. For kicks, alter the. Then try moving down 200 pixels. Center 200 pixels. Bullseye.png. Okay. It starts from here, but it still tiles all the way. Okay. That looks good, but let's get rid of the background of the body for now. I want to show you a little trick. During the design process, I prefer to hide styles and comments instead of deleting them entirely. Okay. That way I don't need to remember them or type them in again. I only have to remove the comment indicator and their back. Okay. When the design is done and it's time to publish, I strip unused styles out to keep the file size down. Here is how the hide declaration comments. Okay, so we go body and these are comments. Okay. So I'll go body, background position. these are comments inside CSS. Okay, so background image bullseye.png, background position. Okay, now add, okay, center top. Now add the blackgoose.png image also. Okay, black goose, no repeat, and center top. PNG background color is that, position, and then we have background. What is, why is it in red? Is something wrong? Okay, this whole thing is in red. Okay, so I have background repeat equals no repeat. Okay, background repeat is no repeat. Blackgoose.png, so let's try that. There we go. Center top, yes. Makes any difference? No. Okay. So now I add to the background of the page, set it to not repeat, and center it in the page. Center. But if I go center, okay, take a look in the browser window and watch the background scroll up with the content when you scroll. Okay, yes, it does scroll up. Okay, I want you to get a feel for the various position keywords and numeric values. Try each of these out and look at them in the browser. Be sure to scroll the page and watch what happens. Note that when you provide a percentage or keyword to vertical position, it is based on the height of the entire document. Okay. Not just the browser window. Height of the entire document and not just the background position. Let's try right top. Let's try right, if I can spell right. Say how, right top. Then we have right bottom. Yeah. Okay. And then your left 50%, center left 50%. Left 50%. Left 50%. Oh, 50. If I go 50%. Alright. So, and then finally we have center 100 pixels. Okay. Center. Oh, 100 pixels. Okay, so back at right top. Right top was same as center top. Okay, this is a little up. Okay, leave the image positioned at center 100 pixels, so you are ready to go for next exercise. Okay, centered 100 pixel. Center top. I'll be back. Alright guys, that was the delivery guy. I'm supposed to receive my switches, brown switches today. Yay! Okay, so I talked about this. Then we go fixed position. Okay, so I should leave this, delete this, then we go 5, and I okay, then I want to set it to be fixed, right? Background attachment fixed, so we'll go with here background attachment fixed. So now we go it is not working. Okay, it is fixed, right? So it should, no, it should just stay where it is and not scroll like that. Maybe I did some background attachment fixed, background dash attachment. Hope background dash attachment spelled right, yes. Save the document, open it. Okay, property to keep it in place even when the page scrolls. Okay, repeat, background color, which goes, oh, because I'm viewing 13, sorry, yeah, that is on me. Okay. There we go. Okay. Alright, so save the document, open it in browser, and now try scrolling. The background image stays put in viewing area of the browser. Cool, huh? But extra credit, see what happens when you fix the attachment of the dot pattern in the div header. Hint, it stays the same place, but only the div itself. Within the div itself. When the div slides out of the view, so does its background. Okay. Let's try background attachment fixed. Fixed. Okay, but I don't want that. When the div moves out of the view, it also moves out. Okay, so it stays fixed within that block. Alright, then we go CSS3 background properties. The CSS3 backgrounds and border module introduced a few more properties for controlling backgrounds. The module is still a working draft, so this information is subject to change. Background clip, okay, border box padding. This specifies exactly how far the background image should extend. We saw that by default it extends to the edge of the border, okay, border box, but you could also make it end at the padding or the edge of the content box using padding. Okay. And you have background size. This property allows designers to size the background image inside the property. Oh. Okay. You can provide specific width and height measurements. Length. Okay. If you provide only one measurement, the other is presumed to be auto. You can also set the image to contain, which resizes the image so that it just fits inside the containing element, or even if there is some blank space left over, or cover, which resizes the image so that the entire element is covered even if some background image hangs over the edge of the view. Okay, we have background origin. This property determines how the background position is calculated, or in the other words, where to. Okay. Hold up. Okay, let's continue. Okay, background origin. This property determines how the background position is calculated, or in other words, where to start counting position measurements. You can start from the edge of the border, padding area, or content area. Okay, then we have the shorthand background property. You can use the handy background property to specify all of your background styles in one declaration. Background. You can use the handy background property to specify all of your background styles in one declaration. Okay, background. So background color, background image, background repeat, background attachment, background positions. As for the shorthand front property, the value of the background property is a list of values that would be provided for the individual background properties listed above. For example, this one is background white, okay, URL no repeat right top fixed, okay. Replaces this rule with 5 separate declarations. All of the property values for background are optional and may appear in any order. Alright. The only restriction is that when providing the coordinates for the background position property, the horizontal value must appear first, immediately followed by the vertical value. Beware that if a value is omitted, it will be reset to its default. Okay, so we have exercise 36, convert to shorthand property. Okay. So let's convert to shorthand property. Right. This, and then we go open with Sublime Text. Then I have header, background image. Let's go with background. Then first we provide the color dash D2 DC9D, D2 DC9D. Then we provide the URL of the image. So URL blackgoose.png. Okay, sorry, images blackgoose.png. Then we provide whether it repeats or no repeat. So no repeat. We provide its position, center, 100 pixel, and then attachment fixed. Right. Do the same for development and you're done. Okay. Watch out for the overrides. The background property is efficient, but use it carefully. We have addressed this before, but it bears repeating because background is a shorthand property. When you omit a value, okay, because background is a shorthand property, when you omit a value, the property will be reset to its default. Be careful that you do not accidentally override style rules earlier in the style sheet with the latest shorthand rule that reverts your settings to default. Okay. In this example, the background image dots.gif will not be applied to h3 element because by omitting the value for background image, okay, so we are it essentially set the value to none. Okay. To override particular properties, use the specific background property you intend to change. Okay. For example, if the intent in the above example were to change just the background color of the h3, the background would be the correct choice. Okay. We have multiple backgrounds. Until recently, you could apply only one background image to an element. To stack up background images in the past, the only solution was to add extra divs in the markup and add an image to each one. Thankfully, CSS3 allows multiple background images to be applied into a single element, and browsers are beginning to support them. To apply multiple values for background image, put them in a list separated by commas. Okay. Additional background related property values also go in comma separated lists. Alright. The first value listed applies to first image, the second to and so on. The image defined by the image defined by the first value will go in front and the other line up behind it in the order which they are listed. Okay. So like this. Alternatively, you can take advantage of the background shorthand property to make the rules simpler. Now the background property has 3 values separated by commas. Okay. Alright. We have body, background, Okay, this. 3 separate background images have been. Oh, nice. So center, left top, no repeat. Then we have. Okay, so these are 3 separate background properties for each one of them. No repeat. Right bottom. As with any new CSS technique, support is lacking in internet. The declaration, the solution is choose no, I don't want to do that. Okay. Now, until support is okay, multiple background image, so we will go ahead parallax scrolling with multiple. Okay, parallax scrolling with multiple backgrounds. The term parallax refers to the visual effect of closer objects seeming to move more quickly than objects farther in the distance. Replicating near, medium, and distance speeds in an animation or motion graphics can give a scene a 3D effect. Some designers use multiple background images to create a parallax scrolling effect. When you resize the browser window or move a horizontal scroll bar, the staggered background move creates a parallax 3D effect. Because you cannot resize or scroll mobile browser windows, this effect will not work on phone or mobile. Okay. So a good starting point to learn is here. Alright. So in this exercise, multiple background images. In this exercise, we'll give multiple background images a try. Note that if you are using Internet Explorer, this is this, so use Chrome Safari, the free. I'd like the dot pattern of the div to run along the left and right side. I also have a little goose silhouette that might look cute walking along the bottom of the header. Okay, fall back the horizontal row of dots we use and ended. So we are running them behind the left and right, and then we have this little. Okay, so we go within. We have okay. We set purple dot center top repeat X. Then we have purple dot left top, purple top, right top, repeat Y, and then URL, and then 90%, and at the bottom, and no repeat. Okay, so goose shadow. Okay, so I have to add this background color, not 13.6, it will be in 13.7. Okay, so let's go edit this. Right, so we have background image. Did I save it? No, right? Okay, good. 13.7, so I can get rid of this. I'll go. Okay, so we have background image URL, and where do I want to put it? Center, top, and repeat. Exactly. Position, center top, background image. So background image URL is in images slash we have purple dot png, purple dot png, and it has position left. Okay, center top and repeat X. Top and repeat X. However, we will overwrite it with the background property, which is will load we will load the first URL, okay, images slash purple.png. Then we provide the position left top and repeat y. Then we load another URL, images, okay, comma, sorry, comma, not with this, we have to separate it with a comma. And we have purple.png. This will be right top, and I want to repeat y. And then finally we have a shadow URL, images slash goose shadow.png, right, goose shadow.png, and we want its size to be 90%, okay, 90% of the way on the x-axis and towards the bottom, and then we don't want it to repeat. Want it to repeat, okay. Then we start with a background color with, okay, this, and I am overwriting the background color. I'm providing a background color. Okay, by default what happens if I don't provide a background color, I think it will match with the color, right, there we go, 13.6. Ooh, I need to fix that. There's 37, right? Okay. Show more options. It don't give edit with, right? Okay, so open with. I forgot to provide. I have provided a background color for the body. Then hash d2. Why doesn't it work? 13.6, right? Neither are the images loading. Okay. Have I used a shorthand property, right? Background. Okay, so we go body, then background. No repeat. Go background, right? Background. Okay, that's on me. That is my fault. So now this should work. There we go. Spelling mistakes. Right. Okay. Background. See again. I forgot the N. Then we set the background color. Because if it is not provided, then here it will be set to default, but we want to override it with background color is I think RGB 255 with 0.5 transparency. Okay, let's take a look. We have this. Okay, right, seriously, background. Okay, there we go. Right. Alright. So it is done. Show the final result. I liked it better before, but you get the idea. Okay. Now, like gradients. A gradient is a transition from one color to another, sometimes through multiple colors. In the past, the only way to put a gradient on a web page was to create one in an image editing program and add the resulting image with CSS. Okay, CSS3 introduced the ability to specify color gradients using CSS notation alone, leaving the task of rendering color blends to the browser. Okay, gradients can be applied anywhere in an image and maybe applied background image, border image, list style image. We'll stick with background image in this example. Okay, there are two types of gradients. Linear gradients changes color along a line from one edge of the element to another. Radial elements starts at a point and spread outwards in a circular or elliptical shape. Okay, gradients are images that browser generates on the fly. Use them as you would use a background image. Okay, linear gradients. Okay, I think I will continue it from next time around. For today, we take up. Bye bye.